Hi, it's me, Rasheed, coach, speaker, and author of Soul Trader, putting the heart back into your business and the gift of inner fulfillment. And welcome to this Catch the Coach, the September issue of Catch the Coach 2025. And here we are at the birth of autumn. And autumn is a very, very profound month. It's a time, autumn is a profound season, fall. It's a time of change. And September is a really significant month because it's a time as you may head back to work, back to your studies, back to the kids maybe going back to school, back to business. There's all sorts of things going on. There's all sorts of shifts and changes going on. And the daylight is beginning to change and the season around us is beginning to change. It can be, for some people, quite a daunting time because it might be that time of, oh my goodness, I've got to get back to things, I've got to start, or it can be overwhelming, starting a new school, starting a new job. There are so many things that can be going on when we think about when we think about September, when we think about autumn, when we think about fall. It is a profound time. It's a very significant stretch of the year. The time between September and December, in terms of studies, it can be the longest term, the one where a lot of the work has got to be done. If you think about things like harvesting, it's happening around this kind of time of year. There's a lot that goes on, and of course preparing for the winter ahead. So it's quite a profound time. And growing up, it was always September was always one of the months that I used to love the most. September, October and November. I loved something about September, about that going back to school. I kind of enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that it made me get organised, etc., etc. This month, though, in this episode, what I want to talk about is how is it therefore, with all of these things going on, with all of these things at stake, how is it that you're able to face and embrace the season ahead? So that's what we're going to be looking at in this episode. And I'm going to be putting a number of different things on the table for your consideration, different things that may well help you to get the best out of this season in order that it's a good season for you. I want to start off with my first tip of the month is about slow, steady, and speedy. I want you to think about this because pace is incredibly important. Pacing yourself is going to be incredibly important for this season. So think about when is it that you might perhaps need to slow. You might even be slowing down, or it might be a slow easing yourself into this season. You might think, actually, I haven't had a proper break yet, or I'm going to be starting off with my break and then I'm going to be heading back to work. And I need to start off slowly. You might be returning to work after some time. You might be starting a new school. You might be needing to be quite taking your time to get ready. You might be at a certain time of life where you cannot be rushing around. Or it might be where you're slowing down, you're easing down. So when is it that you might need to be slower? When also is it that you might need to be steady? So instead of rushing to tackle all of the work, all of the things that you've got on your desk, all the emails, it might be about having a steady approach. It might be that steady approach for yourself, for your health, more steady routine. But when are the times also when it is that you might need to speed up, where you might need to inject a little bit more pace? So the point here is being very mindful about when is it that you need to be slower or to slow down? When is it that you need to go at steady pace? When is it that you might need to speed things up a little bit? Next up, I want to talk a little bit about goal setting. You may have started the year with all sorts of intentions, goals and so on. But here we find ourselves in September. So we're into the final third of the year. And what I quite like about this third of the year is that it can be quite a good focal point to think, okay, what do I need to achieve between now and December? Also, having had some of the track record of seeing things, what that have happened and that haven't happened, you may well be in a better place to judge what is achievable. So my tip here is to set one goal for yourself and your health, one goal for your career or your business, and one goal for your relationships, your home life. So you might be thinking, okay, in terms of first of all, self and health, I'm going to be going out for a 40-minute walk every day or whatever it might well be, or to do X amount of hours exercise in the week, or eating 5 portions of fruit and vegetables, whatever it might well be. What's that health and self-related goal? What's the career and the business related goal? Be very specific about it. be mindful about what is actually doable and achievable. What's the thing that would make the biggest practical impact? You might think, okay, to identify that next role and to apply for it by December. Or it might be to complete X project by December, whatever it might be. And this will, but then finally, your home and your relationships. It shouldn't be an afterthought. This is the basis of everything. That home is the basis, is the bedrock of everything else. What's the goal that you're going to set for yourself and for your relationships? So I hope that's useful. Moving along, next is getting organised, because you might be getting back to work or getting back into the new routine, or kids are getting to a new routine. You might think, oh my goodness, I need to get organised because there's so much stuff to do. I used to love, one of the things I used to love about when I was at school, when I was at secondary school, was I loved that process of getting organised before going back to school. I used to love getting the new, it might be the pencil tin full of pencils and things like that. My new notebook that I was going to write in, I used to love that, and getting the new stationery together. Maybe it's a time for that for you again. Remember, it might be for you about having a regular kind of timetable, putting in that kind of a more organised timetable for yourself. Maybe it is that you need to organise your files, your desk, the computer files. What is it that's going to work for you? What's working already, and what do you need to shift? It might even be a change of which room you're in. What environment is it that you're most productive in? You'll hear me say this quite a lot of the time in many of the sessions I run. And depending what it is you're trying to achieve, because remember, September, December is such a key time for many people in many industries, you're going to need to be highly organised. I, at different times, and depending what my moods are, work in different places in the home. But I've decided for this season, certainly, to start off with, I'm going to be back in my office, because there's something about that I find really is useful in terms of thinking, okay, what's it I'm wanting to achieve for the season ahead? So is it that you're wanting to shift things up? Is it that you're needing to tweak things, being mindful about being organised with your days, with your weeks, with your months, with the quarter, with the year, being organised. We're nearly there. I just want to put a couple of other things on the table. One of the things we begin to notice at this time of the year is that the seasons change, the weather begins to change, there's less light, the leaves begin to fall off the trees. And for me, there's something quite metaphoric about that is quite significant. There's a metaphor in there. It might well be that things are changing for you. Maybe there are things that need to be left behind. Maybe you're leaving behind an old job. Maybe it is that you're leaving behind a relationship. Maybe that things have shifted and changed in your life. These times, be it that we're leaving a job, maybe somebody's left us permanently, forever, maybe somebody has passed, maybe we're dealing with bereavement. The leaves that fall from the tree, it can be very, very, very sad. It can be very challenging. Leaving a job, leaving a project can be a bit like grieving and bereavement. But leaves will fall from the tree. What's really important here is that we are kind, that we're compassionate, that we're loving. And so, for example, if you are leaving that job, how is it you can leave with kindness, with grace, with appreciation? If you are leaving that relationship, being grateful for the relationship, what you had, rather than what it is you perceive that you lack or that you're losing, with kindness, with care, with compassion. I think the last thing that I want to talk about is, actually there's two more things I want to talk about. One is, we've already talked about being organised, but I want you to think about what are the skills, resources and tools that you need for the season ahead. If I think about my life and my career, for the last 20 years I've been a coach, and the world has radically changed. The skills and the tools and the resources that I needed when I started are completely different to now. So what are the skills that you're going to need for this chapter in your life? Skills and knowledge and know-how. Some of them you might know, some of you might not be aware of. It might be that you might need to do some research or talk to other people you know who might be more aware than you. What are the skills and resources that you have? What are the skills and resources that you need? And who are the people, what are the relationships you need to add? And with that in mind, networking can be very important and powerful. It can help you to move ahead during the season ahead. Just this morning, a family member dropped me a line and said, oh, Rasheed, I'm doing this particular project that you know about. Do you happen to know anybody who can X, Y, and Z? And I've spoken to this particular person. That just so happens the person that I've spoken to I happen to know, but I also happen to know a business partner of theirs. And I said, well, I can chat to this person for you and blah, 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 blah. And then they're now about to have a conversation which will be rich and enriching, practically speaking. It's not about money. It's a project for community benefit. But by putting two people together, profound things can happen. So networking is very important. Networking is going to be important for your professional progress, for the progress of the projects that you may well be working on. And it's going to be important in terms of your business too, because ultimately we're interrelated, we're interdependent in life on this planet. So one of the things I want to invite you to is my Networking for Success event. Networking for Success is about helping you to network effectively, authentically, NEV3 strategically and authentically. It's run once every month, apart from August, in proud partnership with the British Library's Business and IP Centre. So do join me there. You'll find all the dates on my website, soultrader.biz, in the events page, on my main website, rosaru.com, on the events page, and come along, it's free online. And likewise, if you're on that journey of starting running your own boss, join me for my Soul Trader workshop, again, run it in proud partnership with the British Library's Business and IP Centre, because it will help you to move forward and to progress, which this season, a lot of that is about how is it we're able to progress, how is it we'll be able to harvest and harness the opportunities in front of us. We're nearly there. I do just want to talk about change, because as we head deeper into this month, we're going to notice that there's change all around us. And change is a very, very funny thing. Sometimes we really wrestle with it. Sometimes we have to struggle with it. But you might be thinking, well, you know what, I'm in it right now. New job or changing job. This has changed about my role. Things have changed for my kids. This is happening. That's happening. There might be all sorts of change. I want you to think a little bit about how is it you feel about change? What's your relationship with change? What's already changing? What's the changes that you need to make? We'll pick up on that theme next month. But let's just pause for a moment. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, pause and breathe. And be grateful, to be in gratitude. And let's just gently reflect on what we've talked about. We've talked a little bit about pace. What's the pace? Maybe for you it's slowing down. Maybe for you it's about being steady. Maybe there are those moments where you're going to need to speed up. We've talked about setting goals, haven't we? Goal for yourself, goal for your health, goal for your relationships and your home life. We've talked also about we've talked about being organised, haven't we? Just a post person that's just dropped something through the door. Hopefully that's going to be something to help me be even more organised. Being organised, what are the things that you might need to shift and change there? We've also talked about the challenging theme about letting go as the trees let go of their leaves. Maybe it's going to be that you're going to need to let go. How can you do that graciously, compassionately, kindly, mindfully, as you move forward and as others move on? As you move forward and move on also. And finally, we've touched on this theme about change, which we'll come back to during the season. I just want to say thank you so much for watching this. I want to wish you all the best for the season ahead. Remember that you can subscribe here to my YouTube channel and to enjoy all of the episodes of this and lots of other playlists for your career, for self, all sorts of things to help you on that journey. You'll find me on other social media too. You'll find me on Instagram, etc., etc. And do remember to join me at my events. There are 3 to help you to move forward. The Networking for Success one and the Soul Trader one are there to help you on your particular journey. And you can get the written version of this, which comes via email, again, once every month. And it does have additional tips that you can enjoy. Again, just go to my website, rosaru.com, and you'll find a link for that. But I want to wish you all the best for the season ahead. Lots of love. Take good care. All the best. Bye-bye.